Good morning, Mrs. Gordy's class. Hope everybody's feeling good. I wore a bright shirt today because it's so sunny out. And since we've been talking about animals, the one nice thing about some of the animals we're going to talk about today is when I think of them, I think of rainforests and jungles and places that are warm. Because the animals that we're going to talk about this week are called reptiles. Now, 2 weeks ago, we put together some animals called insects. And we remember, Jawad, that insects have how many body parts? That's right, 3. They have a head, a neck, and an abdomen. Now, Hannah, what are the wings of a butterfly covered in? Yes, you're right, scales. Well, those were 2 things that were very similar to the next animal that we talked about. Fish. They have scales. They have 3 body parts, though they have a tail, not an abdomen, and they have no neck. They also have a skeleton on the inside, not on the outside. Now, Ollie B, where do fish live? That's right, they live in the water, and they have something special called, yep, you got it, gills. That's how they breathe. Now, today's animal, reptiles, don't have gills. They don't live in the water. They live on the land. Hello again. They do live on the land. Reptiles are animals that live on the land and breathe, but they did have some similar characteristics to the fish and the insects. They start out as eggs, but you know what? When their eggs hatch, they become babies. Kind of like you were a baby one time. The animals that are called reptiles look just like their parents, only smaller. They do have 3 body parts, but the back of their body part is called a tail, and sometimes it's really long. They have scales, but they also have a very dry skin, and though they can live in the water, they all breathe, so they have lungs just like you and I. And much like fish, they are cold-blooded. So in the mornings, they don't move very fast because the weather is cold outside. And again, that's why I wore this shirt, because we find reptiles a lot more in places that are warm. And last but not least, one thing that makes reptiles a lot different than fish and similar to insects is most of them have legs. 4 of them most of the time. Now, instead of constructing with glue and paper and markers and other things, I put together some things I found around the house to help us see what a skeleton of a reptile might look like. Here's my idea of what a chameleon or a lizard might look like. I found some of my wife's lucky glass around, which are pieces of glass that are found on the beach. And I put together, you can see the white head, you can see the long green and brown body, and many reptiles have interesting color patterns on their bodies, and then a little tail at the end. And you can see that lizards have 4 legs. Sometimes the front ones are bigger than the back ones, sometimes the back ones are bigger than the front ones, but most of them have 4 legs. Now, this one here is my idea of what a turtle might look like. Not so much as the scales that you might find on a lizard. A turtle actually has one big scale that is his shell. Now, it has 4 legs. It has a tail. It has a head and 2 eyes. And it, unlike a lot of lizards, lives a lot of its life in the water. Now, this long one here in the middle, I used some plates and some lids to show you the head, the body, and the tail of what might be a large python snake. Notice how the scales overlap. And it allows that snake to move side to side to side to side for how it gets around. Now, I love the pictures that I've seen of everybody's constructions of fish and constructions of insects like ladybugs and butterflies. They were great and they look wonderful on Miss Cordy's blog site. But today, instead of making something that you're going to put on a window or glue together, I'd like you to think about doing something like I did and maybe take a picture of a snake or a turtle or a lizard or a crocodile or something that you might construct with things around the house. I used plates, platters, stones, and other things. I bet you could find some things that are unbreakable that you might put on your table and show a picture to me and to Mrs. Cordy. So, have some fun. I've got a story that I'd like to read because one of the fun things I found out about reptiles was that dinosaurs are reptiles. And when I was your age, I loved dinosaurs. Now, like a lot of other animals, I do have some books, some nonfiction books about dinosaurs. I also have some fiction books about dinosaurs. And the reason that we have nonfiction books is that people have found a lot of fossils, which are records of the bones of dinosaurs in the ground. And when I was little, and even today, I love to look for fossils. Here's a fossil of a nautilus, an animal that lived in the ocean. Here's a Petoskey stone, Michigan's official stone, found only here in Michigan, which is fossilized or coral that has turned into stone. Here's a trilobite, which was an ocean creature, a lot like an insect that lived millions and millions of years ago. Here's another kind of a Petoskey stone. Here is some fossilized coral. And here is a kind of coral that used to be in Michigan that is not really a Petoskey stone, but as you can see, there's a little hole there where an animal used to live. So, today, I'm going to read a story from the Berenstain Bears called The Missing Dinosaur Bone. Hope you enjoy it. The Berenstain Bears and the Missing Dinosaur Bone. The bears were lining up outside the door of the Bear Museum. It was going to open at noon. Dr. Bear was inside. He was pacing the floor. The Berenstain Bear kids, Brother Bear and Sister Bear and friends, tried to figure out what was wrong. "What's up?" What's up? They wondered. As they looked inside, the professor said, "Something is missing. One of our dinosaur bones is missing. Somebody must have took it." Who took it? Where? Can you see which bone is missing? What part of the dinosaur's body is missing, Miss Lily? You're right, it's the leg bone. So the three little bears and their hound dog, Snuff, snuck inside, bringing their detective kit with them. There's no case too hard, no case too tough for the bear detectives and their hound dog, Snuff, they shouted. The search begins. And none too soon, because the Bear Museum was supposed to open at noon, which was just a few minutes away. They searched the place, every cranny, every nook. Will they find the bone? Will they find the crook? A dark, dark room. There's a mummy's tomb. Is that the thief? That spooky face? Nope. That's just the museum's fancy mummy case. King Grizzly Tut. 11:15. Time grows short. How many more minutes to noon? I bet somebody knows. 60 minus 15 is 45. Now, where would one hide a bone of that sort? A pretty big bone indeed. It could be there inside that vase. It would be a bone thief's perfect hiding place. You can look in that valuable vase if you must. There's nothing in there but some valuable dust. Whoa! Luckily, he caught it before it broke. Not much time left, a half an hour. The bear detectives search the tower. Whoa. There he is. There's the thief. He stole that bone. Wrong again. It's just a Native American totem pole. It's getting late, but still they look, and still no bone, and still no crook. Say, maybe bone thieves work in packs. 3 thieves with a sword, and a gun, and an axe. Wrong again. It's the famous museum's statues of wax. There's a pirate. There's an Old West cowboy. There's Genghis Bear and Queen Elizabeth. They had better find that leg bone soon. There's just 1 minute left till noon. With no more time to search and look, they know they will not catch that crook. They failed. This case for the bear detectives is much too hard. Wait, what's that? Out there in the yard. That lump of ground, that bone-shaped mound. The missing bone. It's found, it's found. With hound dog paw prints all around. I guess we know who hid it in the ground. The case is solved, no job's too hard, no case too tough for the bear detectives. The dinosaur skeleton is put back together. And that bone thief Snuff is really sorry. And that is the end. Now, the reason I kind of like that story is that when you go to a museum, much like when you go to the beach or you go for a walk in the woods, if you look around, you can find stuff. And when we go to the beach, we love finding fossils. So, enjoy today. Hope you had some fun. And we'll talk to you later this week when we talk about reptiles again. Bye. Now, I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope you have some fun today trying to put together some sort of constructions that show off what you think a reptile's skeleton might look like. Could be a turtle. It could be a big python snake, or it could be a little lizard like a chameleon. Have some fun. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye. Now, before I leave you, I just want to make sure you do one thing. Please make sure and ask Mom and Dad before you start constructing with things that might be breakable. I had to ask my wife permission so I could use her lucky glass to make my lizard. Please do the same. I don't want to get in trouble. Take care. Bye.